So I started to study very, very deeply from all kinds of traditions, indigenous traditions, mystical traditions. How do we as humans actualize ourselves? Why does it have to be so difficult and so painful and always coming so close to death? There must be another way. So I then decided to live into that process for about 7 years. And I spent those 7 years for about 4 or 5 hours a day in meditation every day. What I was doing every day, I started to walk in a circle, starting to begin in the sentence that if I take this one step in life and I take it consciously with intention, then what starts to emerge from within me and around me? And I let that step complete. Then what will be my next step? And if I now start to make these steps, step by step, from the intention of walking my future into being, then what would happen? So I started to experiment very, very deeply in that process. Then much later, 20 years later, I went deep into system sciences. I became a system scientist. I started to do my Ph.D. research at the Maastricht Sustainability Institute. And you then have to study the archetypes of systems. So I understood that if you understand an archetype of a system, then you understand a deeper coding of a system, from where you have the structure of the way the elements in a system are interconnected and interrelated, which gives rise to patterns, and the patterns give rise to events. And it's often the events and the behavior of the system that we become aware of in our life. But we don't always see what's deeper than that, what's underneath that. So I started to put the two together. The actualization process, the understanding of there's a future within me seeking to be born, of also a new way in which we can grow and develop and evolve. In a desire and intention that I saw echoed among many of my generation, seeking for this new way. Combine that then with the understanding as a system scientist, archetypes. And then ask myself, but hold on, then time is an archetype too. There's a zeitgeist. And why is it that in many of the mythologies, there's always one archetype? What if there is a collective of archetypes? It was then many years back in the middle of my PhD research, one morning when I had a deeply mystical experience and I saw myself as if outside of our Earth in outer space. And I witnessed the birth of a new time and the birth of a new galaxy, a whole new world. And it felt beautiful. And I looked and I saw 5 kind of energy systems working together. I got really curious. What are these 5? Are they the same as the 5 elements? Are they the same as the 5 wisdoms in Buddhism? Why always the pattern of the 5? Is that the same as the deeper coding for the 4 worlds in the Kabbalah? What is this about? 4 worlds in the indigenous cosmologies as well. And this is when I started to study that. And I noticed, they might be the 5 archetypes of this new era. So again, went into full experimentation. Okay, first archetype, who are you? If I step into you and you're coming here and you're here to help us actualize our future potential, what do I see? What do I feel? What do I experience? What do I hear? How do I see the world when I'm seeing it through your perspective, through your consciousness? And I started to see codes. I started to see deeper programs. I started to see how you can change the rule of the game. I said, what's your name? Code. Oh, you're working from the code of wholeness. Wholeness Coder. Okay, Wholeness Coder. Right. So what's then the next one? If I understand the code of wholeness, what comes after that? Now came the next archetype. I start to see possibilities. So new codes, new structures give new possibilities. Oh, that's interesting. I feel my imaginal powers activating fully. I'm in the imaginal world. This is amazing. What is that? What's your name? How do we know you? Future. What do? You create you create futures. You create possibilities for possibilities. You are the future creative? Yeah, future creative. Okay, future creative. Now, what's the next one? Yes, Anneloes, you can open these great possibilities, but that means you're going to have to learn, right? And grow and heal, and there will be change. And some of it may not be pleasant. Oh, so who are you? What are you doing inside me? You help me to go within. Oh, I need to cocoon now? Okay. Oh, you help me to develop my capacities. What are you? You're catalyzing what? Oh, my evolution. Okay. Deep cocooning time, evolutionary catalyst, inner healing, learning to how to develop new capacities. Right. Now what needs to happen in the next step? There's all these patterns being woven inside me from these new future potentials. So patterns being woven in the collective consciousness of humanity so that new structures and new systems could be born. So I asked this archetype, the fourth archetype, what are you then? You're weaving connective patterns. So you're a pattern weaver. You are helping me to go integral, to really now develop my full body of future consciousness. And what happens next? Oh, birth. Right. I'm becoming the story. This is where the full actualization is taking place. Who are you? New paradigm. What are you doing with the new paradigm? You're telling the story of the new paradigm by being that. Okay, so this is the transmission I received, and I wanted to share it with you first in this story so I can pass it on to you now, because I know that these archetypes, these codes, they are living within all of us and in our time. Then through the Ph.D. research, I started to see and research if these qualities were also emerging in the future generations. And noticed in many, many cases they are there as new responses, new abilities, new ways that are coming forth.